Beef barn? Anything, Eric? Mic check. Welcome everybody. We're ready to begin our 2024 Goat and Sheep Show today. So also, if you don't have a program, I think there's some on the bleachers over here, and we may have some extras up here. So raise your hand if you need one. We'll tell the ladies to get you one. We're going to start off this first class with our senior dairy goats. These are over 18 months. So those people lead in their goats. Okay, leading up here we have Julian King, Mark Hardy, Andrew Hughes, Colton Nyhart, Carter Long, Crystal Johnson has 2 entries, Stephen Johnson, and Jesse Johnson. This is our senior dairy goats over 18 months. Mic check. How are we now in the hog barn? Did that help? How's the volume? Try it again. Did I get it turned down? How about now? Let's try it again. How's the volume in the hog barn? We'll try to keep it down. Test. Sound check.
We'll tell you.
As our judge is looking over this first class, I'd like to introduce it. Is Mr. Lonnie Stripe. He probably looks familiar. He's been over here before. Originally grew up in the Farragut area. He now lives in Hummiston, Iowa. He's an auctioneer there. He also raises goats for show and breeding. So we want to thank Lonnie for coming over and judging our show today.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see this many out here first thing in the morning. I want to give all these youth a big round of applause. Nice talk for them. Nice talk for the bear. We're going to start the class off. The young man's black belt. You can leave it right on out here, young man. Kind of ties everything together for me in the best package here. We're in our senior dose here. We've got some that aren't quite into production yet. I'll hit on that. But here's one. She's right in production, guys. I like how she's tying everything together. She's got a really long, level top line. I appreciate that. She's structurally correct. Ties everything together right into a really nice leather attachment. Kind of ties everything together like I like to see. From the side, she's LED nice and you stand behind her. She's kind of white in the hip structure and ties everything together, but a really nice doe to lead this class. Young man's little roan doe going to come out next. I really appreciate this doe. I'd like to level her out across the top just ever so slightly a little more. I love how long-sided she is. I would like to level her out from the hooks to pins just ever so slightly. She's got a really nice leather attachment. I would like to even her up on the teeth just a little bit to stand a little higher, but a really nice pair of does to lead off this class. We've got a nice pair of does here in third and fourth, very similar type of makeup. I'm going to use the painted up doe here to go in third. Really nice doe. I just like how she ties everything together. She's got just a tick more length to her, and that's probably why she's going to be third instead of fourth. But a really nice pair of does. Young man's little frosted ear doe going to be in the fourth hole. Just gives up a little bit in actual structure compared to the doe is going to come out in third, but otherwise a really, really nice doe. I doe here, the young man here, she's not production today. But here's a doe I think you get her in production might stand a lot higher in this class. I love how level she is across the top. I love her long-sided, her good bone, and I think she'll be a really nice project for that young man going forward. We come into it over the next hole, probably got a little bit more maturity over everybody, but I still like how she ties everything together. She gives up a little bit of that natural look to you if it goes ahead of her. But a really, really nice go with a good, strong, better attachment. Nice go, young lady. We're going to run out the class here. We've got 3 does, very similar for makeup. I'd like to make it just a little prettier to say. I like this doe long-sided this here. She's got good bone. And I would like to see her sort of be a little bit more mature in her development going on. And the 2 does run out the class, very, very similar. I'd like to see them have just a tick more body condition to them today. I know you're not going to have these very goats fat. You don't want them to be fat, but they can stand a little bit more condition, a little bit more bone, and that would help sure give them a little bit more eye feel to stand a little higher. Nice class of does to start the show.
All right, in that first class of senior dairy coats, we have 5 purples and 4 blues. First place goes to Mark Hardy. Second place, Carter Long. Third, also receiving the blue, Steve Johnson. Fourth, also purple, beg pardon, Jesse Johnson. And fifth place, also a purple, Andrew Hughes. Others, all the rest of these receiving blues. And Julian King, Colton Nyard, Bristol Johnson, and Bristol Johnson's other exhibit. Okay, coming into our show right now, we have our intermediate dairy goats. These from 6 to 18 months of age. Leading off, we have Janet King, Jillian King, Andrew Hughes, has 2 entries, and Colton Nyhart. This is our intermediate dairy goats, ages 6 to 18 months.
We are a class intermediate goes out here, really challenging class out here. We're going to start off with the young man, younger doe up here. She's just the most structurally correct out here. I really like how level across the top she is. There's some give and take. I'd like to give her a little bit more width across the shoulders. You can carry that right up through to the spring rib, but I really like how this doe is probably going to mature out as she gets older, and a nice doe to lead the class. Young man's doe here, a little more mature compared to the doe ahead of her. I really appreciate her length of body, her level at the top. I would like to straighten her out on her rear legs just ever so slightly to stand a little higher, but a really nice doe for the young man coming second. Young doe's a little brown doe, didn't come out here in third. Just kind of got a little horse with the top to the first two ahead of her. But a really nice young doe here. I really like how long and level she is. But she just like to make her a little wider to compete a little bit for with the top of the class today. Young girl's white doe here, going to come up the next hole. I would like to straighten her out on her legs. I mean, that's if she'd stand a little straighter on her legs, she'd stand a little higher in class. A really nice doe. She ties everything else together really nice. But she's going to have to go out and make a living, and I'm just worried about being a little cowhawk down the road of being sound for a long time. Young girl's little doe going to run out of the class. A really nice little doe. Just probably getting a maturity issue here with the does ahead of her. I think if she gets older, this doe is probably going to stand higher in class. She'll probably develop a little bit more at that width. As she gets a little older, it's stand a little higher. But a nice doe for the young lady.
All right, in that class of intermediate dairy goats, we've got 2 purples and 3 blues. First place goes to Colton Nyhart, sitting in purple, also purple, Andrew Hughes. Those receiving blues in third, Janet King, fourth, Andrew Hughes, and fifth, Jillian King. All right, in our short, this is our second group of intermediate dairy goats. We have Crystal Johnson. There's 3 entries here. And also Stephen Johnson and Jesse Johnson. This is our second group of intermediate dairy goats.
Really nice class here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to lead off the young man's little rondo up here. Kind of ties everything together for me. I like to see maybe flirting with a little bit over condition, but I think she's going to grow out of it just fine. She's standing on good boat. She's super level across the top. I like her width and her hips and everything. She ties really elevated her neck into her shoulders. Really nice doe in this class. Young man's black doe going to come out here in the next hole. Really follows her in type and design. I like to give her just a little bit more. I like to make her a little bit longer, a little bit deeper to stay a little higher in the class, but a really nice doe to come in second. We've got a trio of does here. They're all very similar in type of makeup. We've got some structure issues on their legs. I'd like to straighten them out a little bit here on your doe and third on her rear legs. I'd like to straighten her out, correct her up a little bit. She's super one-sided. I like her look she gives you from the side. Just when you get behind her, she falls just a little bit, especially on her back wheels. So a nice doe. We've got this pair of does here. They're very similar. Like I said, I'd like to straighten out the front legs a little bit more. They've got to be sound going down the road. That's where they falter here in this class, but a really nice pair of those I think will serve these young youth really well. Give them a big round of applause, please.
In that second group of intermediate dairy goats, we've got 2 purples and 3 blues. First place goes to Jesse Johnson, and second, Stephen Johnson. Those receiving the blues, Crystal Johnson, all 3 of these exhibits. Just have one entry in this next group, our junior dairy goat, Crystal Johnson.
Really nice junior doe here, young ladies brought us to wins the class quite easily. Congratulations. I really like this doe. She is a young doe. You can tell by looking at her, the young lady I asked her said she's just been weaned a few weeks, but I say, well, she's kind of got all the right parts and pieces that her one's looking for. She stands square on all 4 corners, and I appreciate that. She's got a nice level top, and I think this little doe will have a big future for this young lady. So congratulations.
In that junior dairy goat division, Crystal Johnson, only entry, receives the purple ribbon. pick our first and second place winners in the show arena now. We'll pick a champion. Well, we got a moment I'd like to point out. The north end of the show arena, you see a banner. The Page County Farm Bureau is our day sponsor. They'll be sponsoring all our activities today, so we certainly appreciate them. Okay, we got a few minutes here. We'll let the young ladies, in case you weren't here the other night at the wing contest, these ladies, congratulations to all of them. We're going to let them introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Addison Moore. I'm the Page County Parrot Queen. My parents are Brian Moore and Elizabeth Davison. And after this, I'm planning on going to the state fair and gonna try and be a parrot queen up there.
Good morning, my name is Hallie King. My parents are John and Joe King. I was selected as this year's first runner-up. I'll be a senior this year at Clarendon High School, so I'll be finishing that out this year.
Hi, my name is Jillian Dahlman. I am the second runner-up. My parents are Jennifer and Justin Dahlman. I just finished my sophomore year of high school, and I'm going to be a junior next year. That's all. My name is Michael Mark. My parents are Justin and Stacy.
Hi, I'm Lexi Clark. My parents are Craig and Kendra Clark. I just finished my sophomore year at Clarendon High School, and I was a queen contestant.
I'm Paige McCoy. My parents are Wendy Bonner and Jeff McCoy. I just finished my junior at Clarendon Community High School, and I was one of the queen contestants this year.
Okay, thank you, ladies. Let's give those ladies a big hand and wish luck to Addison as she goes to the Iowa State Fair coming up in a few days.
give all these youth one more big round of applause. I traveled to several county fairs. Page County ought to be pretty proud. You've got more in your final drive than most county fairs have total. So that's saying something over here for whoever's in charge of your program. They're doing a well the job, and they deserve to be thanked. And kids, make sure you do thank them. Thank your parents, grandparents, whoever's helped you along the way. All your volunteers here. It takes a lot of hours to help you kids out, and it's great because you are our future. So. With that being said, you've got a really nice lineup out here for your final dairy drive. I talked them all in class here, so I won't go real in depth here. So with that being said, I'm going to go shake the hand of your grand and reserve champion dairy goats.
Congratulations to our grand champion dairy goat, Mark Hardy, and our reserve champion, Colton Nyhart. Congratulations to them. They received banners sponsored by Brian Nelson family in memory of Gary Gruber. Do the showmanship competition now. Coming in, we've got our seniors. This is the senior showmanship. sponsored by NSK and the Brian Nelson family. All right, coming in our show arena now, we have our intermediate showman.
Give these 4 youth a big round of applause. Have 4 pretty darn good, there you go, showing under your intermediate age group. Just a little correction for all of you. When you stop, try to keep your goats square under all 4 corners. So I can just, like I said, you just kind of cross the board that way. But otherwise, your eye contact is really good. Just a few little subtleties here and there, but I think there's one young person kind of stood above the rest. So with that being said, I'll go shake your hand for your champion intermediate showman.
Okay, our champion interview showman is Crystal Johnson. She will also receive a plaque from NSK and the Brad Nelson family. Okay, we'll bring in our junior showman.
Two really good junior showmen out here. Give them both a big round of applause, please. I don't have a quarter in my pocket. That's the point. You guys are really, really close. Both did a really good job. I hope you keep at her. You older kids, look out. These two kind of know what they're doing out here. So I just always want to watch these younger kids, what everything they've soaked in so far. But you got to be really trying to get two really good junior showmen. Maybe shake your hand to your champion.
Okay, congratulations to our champion junior showman, Jen King. She also received a plaque sponsored by NSK and the Nelson family. All right, just in 2 minutes, we'll start on our meat goats division. There's several classes here, but while we're getting organized, we've got a few minutes here to take a break. So, class number 1 of meat goats will be coming in shortly. Okay, coming into our show arena now, our first class of meat goats. We have Edmund Bardeman, Brooklyn Ford, Alicia Bettercase, Stephen Johnson, Jesse Johnson, and Chloe Brine. Class number 1, meat goats. Okay, correct myself. This is the junior breeding goat class. We've got Grace Fiddler, 2 entries. Riley Deans, 2 entries. Stephen Johnson. And we have a correction on your ring sheet. We have 2 others coming up from another class. Brooklyn Ford has 2 entries also in this class.
the breeding does under one. So obviously, judging by the size of all these does out here, we've got quite a range, even though we're all under one. We got some that are a little bit younger, some a little bit greener, some maybe a little bit older, a little bit more mature. And so you kind of have a variation just depending on your own personal preference. You can kind of go a lot of different ways. But I think the two that really rise up to the top for me today are the two young ladies that are out center stage here. For me, those just read extremely high quality. And I think really the biggest, the stoutest, the roundest rib, the kind of the most complete in terms of their pattern while still having enough roundness of rib shape and bigness of pin set. Really big and square on all four corners and set down really, really wide. For me, the little subtle difference comes when they move, right? So as soon as the young lady's traditional headed doe out in first year steps out and moves, she just handles her back leg a little bit more preferably in my mind. She's a little bit more flexible there, a little bit leveler out of her hip, just kind of reaches out and goes. Now, I know that she's probably a little bit lower front end, maybe a little bit more open behind her shoulder than the doe is here in second, and I do appreciate that about the little red doe in second, but I would love to see her just come out a little bit smoother, a little bit more comfortable off of her rear too, in order to consider swapping the pair. My congratulations to these two young ladies. Now, the young lady with the other solid red doe in class coming out next is got one that I think obviously a little bit more immature, a little bit greener made than the two young does that start. You can go ahead and pull around here, miss. Than the two does that start, but I think that this one's got some good pieces. I like her rib shape. When you actually study her in her chest floor and her pin set, she's got a lot of shape there. There's a lot of dimension and mass. Really kind of bare bones, kind of green made doe, but I think really, really good place to kind of roll into third. Now the young duo coming out next is doing a great job with this doe that's just kind of got a mind of her own this morning, doing a nice job there. I really like just the softness of this one. I think she looks low maintenance. I think she looks easy feeding. I think she's flexible, comfortable, useful whenever she gets out and goes. And I think the young man has done a really nice job of getting hide and hair really well presented on that one. Young man's got one of the taller outline, higher performing, higher grow does coming out next. But for me, she just gets a little bit plainer of an overall look, a little bit more set to her hawk, a little bit more wild on those pasterns as she gets out and goes. Young lady's doe coming out next, on a dapple-headed doe, really kind of a big round-bodied cow. She's got a lot of pin set. There's a lot of actual mass and dimension in there. That one too probably just gets a little bit more set to her hawk than I prefer, and she does get a little plainer and deeper about her chest. Now the young lady's a kind of black spotted headed doe coming out next is one that I think is really square and neat. I like that this one is probably a little bit neater about that one's head and neck than the doe that comes ahead of her. I just wish that there was more pin set, more roundness of rib, and more dimension in that one. Much like the doe that rounds out the class today, I think this one is just really long-sided. I like the length of spine, the length of hind saddle of this one. And I think her hip and hind leg are probably a little bit more appropriate than some of the two bigger does ahead. But this one just hit the narrowest in her pin set, the narrowest in her chest, more than the flattest about a rib shape for me. We'd like to explode that one apart to consider swapping some things around. Audience, if you would, please give all those kids a nice round of applause. They're really great.
Okay, and that first group of junior breeding goes under year of age. First place goes to Bristol Johnson, who's in purple. Also in purple in second place, Riley Means. In third, purple, Grace Fiddler. And in fourth, also in purple, Stephen Johnson. The rest receiving blues in fifth, Jesse Johnson. Sixth, Brooklyn Poor. Seventh, Grace Fiddler. And in eighth, Brooklyn Poor. As you noticed, we switched judges on you this morning going in this division. We certainly want to thank Tanya DeYoung, coming to us from Lincoln, Nebraska. She works with the American Gelding Association there, but she was on the coaching team at Michigan State and at the University of Missouri. So we certainly appreciate Connie coming over and helping out on the show today. Thank you. Okay, catching up here in this intermediate breeding goats, 1 to 2 years of age. We've got 4 entries. Ella Johnson has 2. Emma Bartleman, 1, and also Colin Bartleman, that's our 4th exhibitor.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and start off with the young ladies doe on the end over here. I think that for me, there was a lot of give and take between the top pair of does over here. I think both of them are obviously the highest performing, the highest growth, highest outline does in class, and I think beyond that is kind of where their similarities end, right? So, I think I go back and forth depending on your own personal preference, and honestly, it kind of surprises me that I line them up this way personally, because I do like livestock to be really big, stout, wide pin, round rib, just powerful, powerful, powerful. But the more that I study these two does, the more I really come to appreciate just the completeness of the doe that starts out here today. I love how strong top she is. She's the one that fits in right better behind her shoulder and comes out more level back to her hooks and pins. She's the one that actually reaches out and steps out maybe a bit more comfortably, and is certainly the more feminine-headed, feminine-necked one that's a little bit neater and cleaner in terms of her chest form. I think both the does could stand to be peeled back from a condition standpoint. They're a little chubby, but I think that one that still really, even though she isn't quite as explosive and round in terms of the ribcage shape as the spot-back doe is, one that I think just fits in really, really completely, so I like to start with that one. Now, the young lady spot-back doe that comes in second is the widest constructed, squarest chested, biggest, most powerful doe in class today. I love the ribcage shape on this one. She's so bold and rounded and just really, really impressive from that standpoint of things. But again, like we talked about, she's one that gets a little deeper and plainer in terms of her chest, a little bit more forward there, a little bit bold and outside herself in terms of that shoulder, and I like to just set her back in, make her a little bit more neat, and square her up and tighten her up from behind her shoulder a little bit. And I think that you can consider certainly swapping some things around from there. But a really nice pair of does to start. Now, our young lady coming out next with the big old dapple doe has got one that I think is really soft bellied. She's soft centered. She looks super easy keeping. One that I think is line enough in terms of her chest, bold enough in terms of her pin set. And when you get in and actually touch on the doe, she is the one that is ultimately rounder and bolder in terms of her full rib shape when you step in right over top of her and get your hands on her. So I really appreciate that about her. And when we get comparative to the does ahead of her, she just gets a little bit cleaner in her hip, right? She is a little steeper back there, a little bit more set to her hock, kind of comes in at her hock from behind, and then maybe just isn't quite as smooth and attractive attractive in terms of her overall appearance, particularly about her neck, her neck shape there. So we'll go ahead and leave her in third. Now, the young gentleman's Dapple Doe coming up next is certainly the longer, thinner, sleeker neck doe of the pair. She's really long, probably a little bit more appropriate in how her hip ties into her than the doe that beats her out here today. For me, there's just not quite enough of her, right? She's a little bit flatter, a little bit narrower pinned, and certainly the flattest of our ribcage shape today. And I'd like to just give her more dimension to go along with that extra look that she's got. Audience, please give all four of those young people a nice round of applause.
Okay, in this class, all receiving purples. First place goes to Ella Johnson. Also in second, Ella Johnson's exhibit. Third place, Evelyn Bartman. And in fourth, Colin Bartman. We will now select our champion breeding goats. These are our first place, second place exhibits coming into the show arena now.
Only a couple of classes out here in your breeding goat show, but I think that the young exhibitors have really brought us a nice set of quality does out here to sort through from top to bottom. It's obviously they've spent a lot of time selecting, breeding, picking their projects, and then again working with them at home to get them to the point that they are out here. And I think that the four does that are out here are just really good quality, right? From top to bottom, just good livestock. They got all the basic fundamentals that I look for when I'm sorting breeding stock, that build, body and balance, and just kind of that extras are really kind of found in a couple of these does out here. And so for me, if I can find one that meets the basics of breeding stock out here today, and then kind of tacks on some of those extras like that extra quality, that extra show ring look, and just the presence out here today. And I think that's really where my sort goes for your champion and reserve out here. The one that just kind of draws your eye, really makes it really obvious that they are just out here to win. They've done a really nice job. Please give all four of these young ladies a nice hand and help me appreciate them. Congratulations to Brownie Means, having both champion reserve for the breeding goat division. She received banners sponsored by NSK and the Nelson family. Out here today. Obviously, these are the lightweights, you know. In my opinion, everybody could probably use just a little bit more groceries to get to their ideal endpoint. We're kind of at that stage of the game out here still, so we kind of have to evaluate just around maybe where we're at, and then kind of call that a wash as far as ideal endpoint is concerned across the board. And then we got to go with what do we actually have here, right? So my priorities changed just a little bit from our breeding show to over to our market show, and of that ideal endpoint to kind of this idea of product, and then just overall balance is something that's important to me, and of particular importance when I'm evaluating market animals. So this combination of muscle and fat, and then one that is able to be wide enough, sound enough, and stout enough to be able to lay down that muscle and fat over top of their skeleton, right? So, and I think that the young gentleman's kind of cape-shouldered weather here really does that the best for me today. When you actually get in behind the weathers out here, and you actually study true dimension at the surface, and the width of their chest, the roundness of their rib, and then that overall rack and one shape up there, then the young gentleman's really just kind of takes it to the top. There is by far the most amount of muscle on this goat. From the side is one that is maybe not as much of a looker as some of the other goats out here today, but I think when you actually get down to the bare bones of it, this is just the most product-oriented goat that I think is just going to hang the shapeliest carcass out here today. So he's going to start off. Now, the young duo with the solid red weather coming out next is definitely one. Again, he brings us another one that is just really, really good in terms of skin and hair. Obviously spent a lot of time really getting this one presented well at home, and that kind of adds to his look from the side. But when you actually get in and get your hands on this one, there's still plenty of muscle up top there, just maybe not quite as wide-based and quite as blown apart as the goat who wins the class, so we'll start off and roll him into second. Now, I think that the duo here in third and fourth really kind of split my preferences down the middle. As one has one thing, one has the other. But I think that the doe, the traditional headed doe coming out next, is one that I think just balances up better, is more appropriate in terms of actual rib shape and size, and then is just the stouter created creature, right? So a little wider, a little bit more muscle up top, just a little bit more muscle back into her leg, and I think that really is kind of what splits that for me. Maybe not quite as highly presented, or maybe as wide constructed as the other two goats up top, but one that I think still has plenty there. Now, I think the young lady with the solid red weather does an excellent job at presenting this one out here. That's a tall shoulder, long-sided one that I think, given another month or so, would look a lot better, right? So just needs a lot more groceries. Kind of green, that kind of disadvantage of being a tall outline, long-sided, really stretchy, kind of good-looking one out here is there's just got to be more muscle on one like that, and that's where I think we kind of split the hairs today out here today. But the young lady does a really nice job at presenting that weather. Now, our friend with the one that doesn't have as much go as some of the other ones out here today is doing a really nice job at working with teammates. Goats aren't great teammates sometimes. They just don't maybe cooperate as well as some of the other species out here today, and she's doing a really good job at being patient with that. Now, I think that we get into the two goats that are just the smallest out here today, and unfortunately that is a disadvantage when we get into the lightweight classes like this, because they are also the skinniest, they're kind of the greenest, the lightest muscle ones out here today. But I think that the young ladies in fifth here is one that just is bigger and bolder ribs, has a little bit more muscle when you actually get in and get your hands on them, and one that is just bigger and stouter footed and kind of has that foundation to be able to come into maybe a more complete, heavier muscle, bigger, heavier weight package at the end. The young lady rounding out the class has done an awesome job at working with skin and hair on that one. That one's really fresh, really soft to the touch. She spends a lot of time at home, obviously working on presentation there, and I appreciate that about this one. I like that this one's got some length. This one's got some depth of body. This one, unfortunately, is just the lightest muscle and the lightest muscling up top. So we'll go ahead and round out with that one today. Please give all those young people a nice hand.
Okay, in that first class of meat goats, first place goes to Jesse Johnson, receiving in purple. Second, also in purple, is Stephen Johnson. The rest receiving blues. Third place, Chloe Ryan. Fourth, Alicia Buttercase. Fifth, Ellen Bartman. And in sixth place, Brooklyn Poor. got one more young lady helping out, passing out ribbons, so we'd like her to introduce herself.
My name is Carly. My name is Carly. Maya. And I'm Daniel and Jackie. And I'm going to be in third grade.
The second class of Migos, we have one scratch, so that's why we only have 4 in there. We've got Jesse Johnson, Evelyn Vardaman, Ashley Hardy, and Katie Ryan. This is class number 2 of our Migos.
Alright, so we get a little further on into our market show out here today. I think that it really comes down to I got 2 goats that have some muscle and 2 that maybe need some more right out here today. So as we kind of consider the top 2 pair that have maybe a bit more muscle, a bit more shape up top, a bit more shape and size and dimension to their rear leg, one that I think in terms of comparing the 2 out here today, the young lady's black-headed doe is just the one that is the best balance from the side. A lot better proportion, a taller shoulder, meaner in terms of her chest, straighter and leveler back out for the top of her shoulder all the way back to her hip and hind leg. One that I think moves out plenty comfortably. Is this maybe the stoutest constructed goat that we're probably going to see in the whole show today? Probably not. And I think that one could certainly use just a bit more oomph in terms of power, but I think that that's just the best combination of one that has enough and then is the best balanced and probably the best skeleton from the side. So we'll start off with that young lady's doe today. Young gentleman coming next with his kind of dapplier weather next is one that I think is the other one that's got some muscle shape up top, got some tone. You actually get your hands on him. He's a little plainer and dingier in terms of his hide, and I'm sure that's not helping his look from the side. A little bit looser there too, and he's also fighting the chain pretty good up there. But one that I think just gets a little bit more bumpy and disjointed in terms of how his skeleton comes together. He's kind of big and bold at the point of his shoulder, kind of drops off right behind his shoulder, and how his spine hooks into the rest of it. Around and kind of not as level and as impressive as I like in terms of his hip and hind leg shape, and that's for me what separates the 2 pair, but I think the young man's done a nice job at getting that one fed as well. Now we kind of switch back to one that's maybe a little bit better looking and definitely a tall shouldered, long-sided, really kind of proportional type of goat coming out next. We really appreciate that about the young lady's selection choice in this doe out here today. Another one that I think just needs a little bit more oomph, right? Needs a little more muscle up top, from behind, and just a bit more dimension. Now the young ladies are weather rounding out the class has got one that I think from the side has definitely got some big old feet, big old bone. You like the feature on this one. When you actually get in and get your hands on this one, that one's pretty bare up top in terms of muscle shape, and when you get in and study that one from behind, a lot narrower and flatter in terms of inset and muscle back there. So we'll round out with that one. Please give all those young people a nice hand.
All right, in class number 2, we have 1 purple and 3 blues. First place goes to Katie Ryan. And second, sitting in blue, Jesse Johnson. And third, Evelyn Barber. And fourth, Ashley Hardy. All right, coming in out, our class number 3 of Mean Goats. Brooklyn Riley, Jesse Johnson, Ella Johnson, Ashley Hardy, and Heritage Longnecker.
All right, as we get further on into our heavier weight goats, we start to see kind of some completeness about these dudes. These are our goats that are maybe a little bit heavier muscle, a little bit more appropriate in terms of mature weight right out here today. And I think all the young people have done a really nice job at getting these fed presented out here today. For me, the most obvious choice to do in this class is to start with the young ladies, whether that one is just really good quality from the side. That is by far the heaviest muscle goat that we've handled so far today. Super, super shapely, up over his back and back into his loin. Really big and square in terms of his edges. I love the shape and just the overall mass and dimension that he's got in his rear leg. And then to boot, he's one that's really long spine, one that's good looking, one that's got some of those extras in terms of foot size and feature as well. Now, in a perfect world, he'd be a little taller shoulder, he'd be a little neater in how he moves that shoulder blade when he gets out and goes, because he kind of wants to do this open rotate little dance there, and you like to just clean him up a little bit from a skeletal perspective and presentation that way. And then I would love to make his hide a little bit tighter, because he gets a little bit loose and wrinkly up over his top. That's just, kind of being critical of one that is really good quality out here today. Congratulations to her. Now, the young lady coming out in second has got the other bigger, heavier muscles, scouter made one. When you get your hands on this goat, there's a lot up top, there's a lot drips around us, a ribcage shape, there's some dimension there. I think he runs out of gas when you get behind him. One that really kind of loses natural muscle shape back there, which is interesting because usually the opposite is true, right? But I think that one, she does a really nice job at getting this view presented, and I think that one that I think is fairly competitive when you kind of look at it in a great scheme of things out here in Jersey about the show today. Nice job to her. Young gentleman coming out next has got another one that's big enough rib and soggy made, one that's got some muscle up top, and you really like the shape of this guy's back into his loin. He's big and square there. I think he gets a little bit round in terms of his hip. He gets a little bit plain low in terms of his front end. He's another one that I'd like to tighten up in his hide and just make him higher presented from that standpoint. And I'd love to just make it a little better balance from the side. Nice goat that the young gentleman's got. Now the young lady with the really good balanced red weather coming out next. I like how tall shouldered he is. I like how neat and level he is from his top back to his hip. One that I think has some actual tone and touch of muscle. She's obviously spent a lot of good time and getting skin and hair right with this one. I appreciate that. When you get behind him, he kind of does a little bit of a disappearing act. He's a little flatter made, a little bit narrower when you study from behind, a little narrower at the surface. I'd love to just have that front view and rear view be as explosive and good as his profile is. So we'll leave him down here in fourth. Then ladies, the red weather rounding out the class today is another one that's really long-sided. I like the foot size and the bone in this one. She did a nice job with him. When you get your hands in the goats, this is just the one that needs more muscle shape up top. And certainly needs some when you view him in terms of his leg shape from behind. Please give all of those young people a nice hand.
Alrighty, class number 3, first place receiving a purple, we have Ella Johnson. The rest of these, at second place in purple also is Heritage Longhammer. In third place, Jessica Johnson, purple. Fourth place, Brooklyn Riley, purple. And in fifth, receiving the blue, Ashley Hardy. I've been asked to announce sometime last evening somebody had lost a Samsung phone, and if you know anything about that or found it, would you please take it to the fair office? A Samsung phone was lost sometime last evening, so if you happen to have found that, would you please take it to the fair office? Alright, in our show right now, we have class number 4 of our meat goats. We have Ashley Hardy, Brooklyn Poor, Colt Nelson, Brooke Burns, and Noah Taylor. Class number 4, meat goats.
tonight. A lot of variety in terms of the goats out here today, but I think the one that just kind of meets those basics that I talk about in terms of products, so that muscle and fat combo, and then just being complete in terms of balance from the side is the young ladies where they're starting off today. That is by far the biggest, squarest back one that really kind of maintains that squareness and shape back into his rear loin. I think that his muscle shape in terms of his leg is really, really shapely and expressive. You appreciate that about him. He's big-footed, he's big-boned, he's kind of a big burly dude, right? I think that his skeleton needs a little bit of assistance for me. He gets a little bit straight and wound up and how that hip and hind leg fits into him and works. And then he is a little bit open and kind of over the top kind of his shoulder. You'd like to neaten him up and kind of stretch his neck out from there. But I think that beyond that, this is just the most product-oriented one that is by far going to hang the shapeliest carcass. And beyond that, he's just the most quality in this class for me today, so we'll start off with him. I think that the young gentleman with old Jacob the Weather coming out next he told me this one's grumpy today, but I think he's doing awesome. So really, really one that I think you get on him and you appreciate just how smoothly he moves whenever he enters the ring. You appreciate how comfortable and flexible he is on all fours. I like his balance and his smoothness and his lines from the side. Then when you get your hands on him, you understand that there's still enough muscle and product to move him in a second. Now, I'll be honest, the young lady's white Weather coming out next is the smallest footed and the frailest made one in here. And initially I was like, oh, well, there's one that I think just needs a little bit more assistance. But you touch this one and you're pretty impressed. She's done a nice job at getting him not only skin and hair presented extremely good on that one, but there's a lot of muscle shape up top. There's a lot of actual touch and tone on there. And I appreciate the actual product orientation of that goat to move into third. Now, I think the young gentleman's Weather coming out next is one that I think is definitely the bigger footed, bigger boned, bigger featured one compared to the one that beats him out here today. When I get in and actually get my hands on this one, there's just not enough muscle shape up top, and I'd love to see probably just a bit more groceries put into this one to get into a further ideal end fight out here today. Our young lady that's busy, you gotta go in every class, is doing a nice job again at picking one that is really tall-shouldered, long-sided. I appreciate the extra foot and bone on this one. Again, this one that needs more muscle shape when you study that one from behind and get your hands on that one from the top. Please give all those young people a nice hand.
All right, in class number 4, our first place goes to Brooke Byrne, receiving a purple. Also a purple in second place with Colt Nelson. Third, purple, Brooklyn Ford. Those receiving a blue, Noah Taylor. And then fifth, Ashley Hardy. Coming in now, we have class 5 of the Marine Goats with Alicia Buttercase, Colin Vardaman, Ella Johnson, 2 entries, Tori Burns, and Dwayne Ryan. This is class number 5 of the Marine Goats.
right, as we get into these heavier weight classes, I think that the top end becomes even more competitive as we go further on. I think we've got some quality goods up top to sort through, but I think it still comes together fairly sensibly to start off with the young lady on the end over here for me today. This is just the one that is the best balance from the side, from the shoulder. That one's the tallest shoulder. That one's the most level out of his spine. Further back, that one actually gets out and goes whenever he's being cooperative. Gets out and goes really comfortably, athletically on the move. I think that he does kind of roll to the outside of that foot ever so often on that back too. But I think that splitting hairs on one that is just the heaviest muscle, best balance, most complete animal from the side. That to me just needs to start. Now the young lady with the big old stout dude in second here has got one that is really, really packed full of muscle. Love the power of this guy, love the foot size and feature of this fella. From the side is where I kind of take my issue with him. He's the lowest fronted goat in here of the top trio. He's the one that is just kind of the boldest and most open about his shoulder. He's really just doesn't hook in quite from that shoulder back to his spine as well as I'd like him to, and then just kind of lurches forward in terms of his entire skeleton. I'd like to just rock him back a little bit, give him a little bit more comfort from that perspective. But that is a heavy muscle, powerful, shapely dude that's got a lot of foot bone feature and power, and I dig power, so we'll leave him in second. Now the young lady coming out next has definitely got one that's pretty comparable in terms of muscle shape compared to the two that went out here today. I like the big power that he's got up over his rack. I love the touch and tone that she's got on him. He handles really fresh, and I do appreciate that about him. He just gets a little bit more off in terms of balance for me. He's a little smaller footed, a little bit frailer bone, really kind of rolls to the outside of his hocks whenever you stop and stick him up. And then from the side is a little bit more belly and softness there, so he looks a little bit cleaner in terms of his overall muscle and his marked animal presence compared to the two ahead of him, so we'll leave him in third. Now the young gentleman's kind of Rony doe coming out, that Rony weather coming out next year is definitely one that is very tall shouldered, really, really good balance from the side, one that pieces together in a really kind of proportional package. I appreciate the extra foot and bone on this one. I just need a shot more muscle. I think that there's some good handle quality up top that compared to the three others ahead really just kind of loses out in terms of actual muscle shape up top and from behind, so we'll leave him in fourth. Now the young lady again, just a really good showman, does a nice job at presenting her weathers out here today. Really kind of a tall shouldered, long-sided one. She has a type and it definitely really kind of expresses out in this one because she's got really good looking, good balance goes from the side. Again, another one that's maybe just a bit tall, and for how big frame this one is, just needs more muscle and more power from behind. She does a nice job with them. Young gentleman rounding out the class has got one that is probably wider chested, maybe a little bit bigger bone, a little bit stouter made from that perspective compared to the goat that beats him out here today. I just need a bit more balance, a little bit better looking quality from the side, and then just more handle quality whenever you touch him up top. Really nice set of goats. Please give those young people a nice hand.
All right, in that class number 5 of meat goats, we have 3 purple and 3 blues. Leading off, we have Tori Burns in first place. Second place, Ella Johnson. Third, also Ella Johnson. Then received blues, Colin Martin. Fourth, fifth, Alicia Buttercase. And sixth, Dwayne Ryan, who's eating the blue. Coming into the show arena now, we have class number 6 of our meat goats. Colt Nelson. Ashley Taylor. We had 1 scratch in, so we only have 3. And Brooklyn Poor. Correction, excuse me, Asher Taylor. I said that. Thank you.
It's a smaller class for our heaviest weight market weathers out here today, but I think the young people have done a really nice job at getting these fed and presented out here today. We're going to start off with the young lady on the end over here. This is just the heaviest muscle, biggest, most powerful goat class. One that I think looks like he was really easy to feed. He probably gained weight super good for the young lady. And I think that you really appreciate just the market aspect and the marketability and just the shapeliness of the carcass that this guy's going to put up. Now, I think he does get really outside of himself and those shoulders up front. We like to make him more correct in how he sets those elbows into it. And then just maybe give him a little bit more freshness in terms of muscle cover, in terms of fat cover out here today. But I think the young lady's got one that just logically wins in my mind. Now we got our friend out here with Otis, who he says leads better than Jacob did, and he's definitely right, because when this one gets out and goes, that's when you appreciate this dude the most. You really love how flexible and comfortable he is. You like his movements, you like his balance from the side. Compared to the goat that wins, just not quite as heavy muscled up top and quite as big in terms of his leg from behind, but he does a nice job with that. Big old goat. Now the young gentleman's black-headed goat coming next is one that's got a lot of muscle, a lot of foot size, one that just is kind of big meat potatoes kind of dude. Unfortunately, compared to the other ones, meat potatoes isn't as pretty, right? So a little bit longer shoulder, a little plainer, deeper chested, kind of thicker and plainer about his head and neck, and softer and plainer in terms of how his rest of his spine and his flank sets into him. Like to give him just a bit more quality and a bit more look for the show ring out here today. Please give all those young people a nice hand.
Right, in our last class of 8 goats, class 6, receiving the purple in first place, Brooklyn Poor. Also in purple in second place, Colton Nelson. And in third in blue, Asher Taylor. We will now bring in our first and second place goats in all 6 classes, and we'll pick a champion in reserve. Okay, so coming in here, we'll bring in the first place goats in each class. We have Jesse Johnson, class 2, Katie Ryan, class 3, Ella Johnson, class 4, Brooke Burns, class 5, Tori Burns, and in class 6, Brooklyn Poor. Coming in now, we have our reserves out of the record classes. Ethan Johnson, Jess Johnson out of class 2. Class 3, we have Meredith Homehacker. Out of class 4, we have Colton Nelson. Class 5, we will have Ella Johnson. And out of class 6, Cole Nelson.
All right, I think a really, really nice lineup of market goats out here today. All the young people have done an awesome job, not only the ones in the ring out here, and a lot of them are pinch hitting for maybe some friends out here in the ring, and I think that's one of the really, really cool parts about 4-H is you get to, you know, work together and compete together and prepare together and come out here, and it's all, you know, it's tough competition amongst your peers, but in the end, you really are just making lifelong friends, and I think that's super, super cool that these kids get to do that. So I really appreciate all the hard work that they've done out here, all the kids out here and the kids back in the barn that didn't make the lineup out here today. I think when it comes down to it, there's a few of them that rise to the top in my mind, but a pair of them that probably just fit together in terms of just being really, really high quality, powerful, stout, constructed dudes that I think one of them really just becomes the most complete in my mind in terms of skeletal advantages out here today. So audience, if you would please give all these young people a nice hand and we'll get you champion of the earth.
Okay, congratulations to the Burns family. The champion goes to Tori Burns and reserve goes to Brooke. They receive the banners also sponsored by NSK and the Brian Nelson family in memory of Jerry Gruber. Okay, we're ready for our showmanship contest. We'll bring in the seniors first.
All right, I love when we move into showmanship, when we start with the seniors, because if you guys, intermediates and juniors, if you guys are thinking at all, you guys are ringside watching how I prefer things when you guys are when I'm out here sporting showmanship. And I'll give you guys some, I always give the first class a little bit of grace because you don't know exactly my preferences, my flavors, where I'm really placing emphasis on when I'm selecting. So I'll just tell you, I look for 3 things when I'm sorting showmanship. And one of those, the first one is a good first impression. I need somebody that gives me eye contact from the get-go, somebody that is got their game face on, they're ready to roll, their animal is ready to roll, they're thinking about where they're going to be in the ring, they know exactly where they need to go, that impression of just acting like you've been here, you've done that, you know what's going on, and that you're doing a really good job at really remaining professional, your posture is good, and then that really, really good eye contact from the get-go. So good first impression, right? So it's really hard to come back from a bad first impression in my mind. But somebody that maybe gives me a really, really nice first impression, maybe I'll let a couple other things slide further out because I've already kind of bonded with and I like that person from the get-go, right? I have that good first impression in my mind. Number 2, I want somebody that is really quick and efficient at getting their animal set up, and they're really kind of got their ring smarts, right? So they know their spacing, they know exactly where they need to go, they're doing a good job at making sure that their animal is maintained throughout the entire show. They're doing a quick job at getting them set, and they're really maintaining and making sure that they stay set. They're thinking about their spacing, they're making sure that they're in line, kind of all those ring savviness, and somebody that's really quick and efficient at getting that done. And number 3, I'm looking for somebody that does those first 2 really, really hard things and makes it look really easy and effortless. Somebody that has obviously spent a lot of time working with that, has spent a lot of hours at the barn and at home working on all of those 2 hard things to really make sure that you give an excellent impression and view of your animal from top to bottom. For me, that there's something that each one of these individuals could do a little bit better. I think all of us maybe we're all friends, we all get along together, but showmanship is an individual sport. Your person in front of you with a goat that won't move is on their own, okay? You worry about what your animal looks like and how you're doing. Make sure that you give yourself enough room to actually get out and get your animal to move whenever you're pulled out and asked to go. It's okay to pause and wait at the gate or pause and wait when you're stuck over here and gonna move around the ring to really make sure that your animal can get out and move at their natural pace as well. Making sure that you guys are in line, that you're keeping a straight line, that you're keeping it together, thinking about all those things, finding the low spots, finding the high spots, and then just being really quick and efficient at kind of swapping around from front to side whenever you're getting going in terms of those transitions. For me, there's one young lady out here that I think does an excellent job at being really quick, efficient, calm, cool, collected. Maybe struggled a little bit with eye contact from the beginning, but I think all of us did that too. So we'll go ahead and give you a champion senior showman. The audience, please congratulate, thank these young ladies for their efforts out here today.
Okay, congratulations to our senior showman, Alicia Buttercase. She will receive a banner, I believe, sponsored again by NSK and the Nelson family. A plaque, excuse me, I think they're getting a plaque instead of a banner. All right, we're ready for our intermediate division.
And then we're going to fry raisins.
All right, it's a nice big group of intermediates out here as well. And again, it doesn't matter what species, it doesn't matter what age division, I'm still looking for those same three things every time I go out and sort of showmanship class out here. I think from top to bottom, all the kids are doing a nice job. Obviously, they spend some time working with their guys at home. They're chill, they're kind of old hat at this, they know what they're supposed to be doing out here. I think some of us maybe just have a little bit more experience doing that. And maybe just a few more times in the ring, a few more years in the ring maybe. That's okay, right? Everybody's got a first show, everybody's got a fifth show, and everybody's got a 105th show. So really, really good job to all of you guys. Make sure you guys are keeping at it, working at home. A couple of big tips that kind of across the board that I'd love to give just to everybody out here today. Kind of think about maybe your equipment, okay? Whatever type of equipment, I don't care if it's a chain or if it's a halter, whatever works best to get your animal to go the best, but make sure that whatever you have is really good fitting, right? Just make sure your halter is actually up under their eyes. A couple of us do a really good job with that. Maybe a couple of us have kind of loose halters or maybe some chains that I think could be held down just a little bit tighter. Maybe some of us get a little bit further onto their head and their neck than I like to, so your hands are kind of further down on their head and their neck. And what happens when you do that? Then you kind of start to lean down, your goat's head and neck starts to lean down, and then it throws off the whole deal. And when you lean their head forward like that, then they're like, all right, time to go. So that's why they're wiggling around, right? So you got to get them up. I prefer a showman that probably stands up when they show. Not a huge fan of the kneeling down when you guys are out here getting them stopped and getting them raced. I promise you can do just as good with the inside of your leg down here to actually get them stopped and stuff. It just takes some practice at home, right? So really good job. I think that there's a couple of individuals out here that maybe do just a little bit quicker, faster job at getting their animals set, and then making sure also that they're paying attention to where their goat's feet are afterwards, right? You don't just we don't all get so lucky that our goats just stop, they set up, and they stay like that, right? So you got to keep checking to make sure that your feet and legs are set square and that your animal looks good all the time, right? So really, really good job. We'll go ahead and get you a champion. Love all the effort that these kids have gone to. So if you guys would please give all these intermediates a nice hand, and we'll get you a champion showman.
Congratulations to our intermediate champion, Katie Ryan. She'll also receive that in plaque by NSK and the Nelson family. Okay, we held up our champion rating game. If you've got a ring sheet in the back of it, you'll see the list of rating game champions. You can see where his goat gained a 0.62 pounds per day. So congratulations to Jesse Johnson. He'll receive the banner, again sponsored by NSK and the Nelson family. Right now, we're bringing in our junior division, the showmanship contest. We'll pick the champion out of this group.
All right, we gave each one of our juniors one piece of homework that they're supposed to go home and work on for next time that they come out and show. So parents and family at home, make sure and ask them so that you can help them practice at home next time that they're coming to show. So really good job to all the kids out here. They spent some time working with their goats, obviously. Goats are stubborn, right? It's really good. I appreciate how patient all of you guys are with your goats because they can be really, really ornery to work with. But you guys are doing a good job at being patient, not getting mad, being really, really calm with them, and just working on doing what we got to do with those guys too. So really, really good job to all of us. I think there's some things that everybody could work on. Like I said, homework for next time. But I've got one exhibitor out here that I think just really, really gives a good presence out here. I really love the eye contact this person gives with me, and I really appreciate just how professional this young person is out here in the ring. Really nice job. Please give all of them a nice hand, and we'll get your chances.
Okay, congratulations to Brooklyn Riley, our champion show in the junior division. She'll receive a plaque, and also she'll receive a banner because she was at reserve rated game. So congratulations to her and all the junior showmen. Okay, that pretty well concludes our goat show today. We certainly want to thank Connie for doing her judging, but she's not done today. She's got the whole day. She's going to be here and doing our sheep